Welcome to episode 133 to Auto Topic. What's up, Brad? We have a in-studio guest, right?
Yes, we do.
We have MaeLynn. How are you, MaeLynn?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
Good.
We are excellent. We are all well fed because we just all had Mexican food.
Yes.
So,
So good.
if we fall asleep mid podcast, it is definitely food coma time.
Yeah, we'll try not to.
Yeah. We had
Um,
very, very large sized burritos and quesadillas.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was
Delicious.
quite delicious, but probably not recommended before recording.
Yeah, because we're recording a day early, so we did Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, but
Not,
we
not
had
that that matters to anyone listening.
Burrito Tuesday. None of us had tacos. We had the intention of going for Taco Tuesday, and then none of us ate tacos.
Yeah, just
It was a
Mexican
taco
food.
bowl, I guess. Closest thing to a taco, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Stephanie had a taco salad, which I
Mhm.
guess is a taco.
Mm-hmm.
So she sealed the deal for us.
Sure.
We're good. We're safe.
Anyway, food talk
Yep.
to avoid weather talk,
Yep.
which we could easily do tonight, but we're not going to.
No.
Because the weather sucks outside.
We might as well get right into it. So, MaeLynn, you are the owner and founder of Southern New Hampshire Cars and Coffee.
Yes, that's
Yes.
me.
As a new podcaster, this is your first podcast.
This is my
when you
first
shake your head
podcast.
back and forth for a response, it doesn't translate.
Yep, that
Just so
makes
you know.
sense.
Yeah.
Got it.
Not to call you out or anything, but I called you out. You're like, yeah, that was me. But yes, you started the Southern New Hampshire Cars and Coffee, which is the event that we always talk about at the end of our show. And we tried to promote as best we can for whatever local listeners we have.
And that's why we thought it'd be great to have you on, because the first event of 2019 is this
This
weekend.
Sunday.
This
Yeah.
Sunday.
the
April 14th.
14th.
April 14th.
And what is the official start
2019.
time?
9 a.m.
9 a.m. Okay, so MaeLynn, it was nice having you on, and you've now promoted your show.
All right.
And,
Bye, guys. See you later.
okay, so Cars and Coffee. Had you been a regular Cars and Coffee participant before you decided to start your own, or was it kind of an idea that you saw online and wanted to grow? Or how did it become what it became?
Yeah, it was kind of a weird story. I'd attended some cars and coffees here and there the past year. There was one cruise night going on in Candia that ended up being canceled for whatever reason, and there was no kind of local one in that
Mhm.
area.
Candia is New Hampshire for our not local people.
Yeah. So some of us, we got together, a couple friends during the summer for some ice cream, and we were talking, trying to see if we could find some place to host another one. So I'll just kind of chit chat, nothing really formal, but I decided to run with the idea. Spoke with local coffee shop owner that I know, Kevin. He owns a coffee factory in Derry and in Salem, where it's held. The first event actually was in October of 2016, so it was at the end of car show
I think we
season,
missed that one.
ironically.
I think we heard about it right after it happened. And we're like, oh, is it local Cars and Coffee? What's going on here? How do we get involved?
Yeah, it was cool. I was happy with it at first. We had about 30 cars, which I thought
For our first show, it was pretty
yeah, it
successful.
was pretty good.
Yeah.
And that particular year, 2016, 2017, the weather was decent. There wasn't a lot of snow, so I ran it all winter into the 2017 season, and then in the 2017, the winter started to get crappy, and I had to call it
I
off
do
for
remember
that winter.
I do remember the first really cold one. We were all standing out there going, "What the hell are we doing?
Oh yeah, that was last year.
Yeah.
March of 2018. Yep.
What are we doing right now?"
People were parked up against the mile-high snowbanks.
Yes,
That was good.
It was pretty gross. But there were like 400 people there
Oh,
because
yeah.
everybody was so antsy to get out of their house
Yep.
after winter.
Yep.
One of my
So-
friends was counting cars. He stopped after 200. There was still rows left.
Yeah,
It was big.
it was a big event. But again, it was after a really long winter, and
Yep.
people just wanted something to do.
Yeah, it's cool though.
No, it is cool. Thank you for getting involved with that. Now, you started that with, because to jump ahead a little bit, we'll get back into your car history later, but you're a mini enthusiast
I am.
of
Yes.
old and new minis.
Correct.
So you started that with your friends that you're talking about, were people in the mini group?
Yep. So, yeah, Minis in New Hampshire, which is a local Facebook group that I kind of run. We get together sometimes pretty much monthly, sometimes 2 times a month. We get dinner, different events, drives, set that up. So yeah, it was kind of originally hosted under that name with Minis in New Hampshire and the Coffee Factory. After that first show, a lot of people were asking, when's the next one going to be? When's the next one going to be? I never had really thought about something to set up formally like that, to have a monthly show or anything. So we chatted names, Southern New Hampshire Cars and Coffee was kind of born after that first one.
That's cool. Simple name works. If
Yeah.
it's too complicated, you will know where it is, and they know what it is.
Yep.
That's all
Yep.
we need to know.
Exactly.
Doesn't need to be anything special.
Nope.
No, that's awesome. Um,
So I guess we'll start at the beginning. How'd you get into cars?
It was kind of a weird thing. Kind of fell in my lap almost. My first car was a Mini. I have a 2013 hardtop, ice blue, just a base model. In the Mini world, we call them Justa Cooper. I had it
excellent.
I had it for about, I had it for about 6 or 7 months. I had to go back to the dealership for some maintenance, and it was a little after, I think it was probably beginning of July. They mentioned a yearly event, Minis on Top, and I was like, oh, what's that? And they say that, a bunch of Mini enthusiasts get together, they all go up north, kind of meet in, I'm trying to think where Mount Washington is. I can't think of the town. What's the town's name?
I just call it
Remember.
Mount Washington, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
North Conway?
Yeah, that's it. Pretty much,
Okay.
yeah, North Conway.
Yeah.
They all meet up there for the weekend, have this big event, and I was kind of bummed I missed it. So after that, I started looking into more of. Obviously, there was a following with the Minis. I had no idea. I had the car for like 7 months. I got some waves. I was driving around. I was like, hey, what's
So you were just
going
like a
on?
normal car owner. You weren't like
Yeah.
into it like
At
as
the
an
beginning,
enthusiast
yeah.
thing. That's interesting.
And then that August of 2014, I think, I found a Facebook group, League of Extraordinary Miniacs, which is a global group almost. There's people from all over the world on there. Someone from New Hampshire had found me because I was like, hey, I'm from New Hampshire, what's going on? And invited me over to Minis in New Hampshire. Just so happened they were having an event that weekend at the Tap House, which is a place in Hooksett, New Hampshire.
New Hampshire,
Yeah. Met a lot of great people, and stuff just took off from there. I would go to a lot of the monthly meets and just meet a bunch of people. There's a bunch of other local clubs. There's Minis in Maine, Minis in Boston. There's ones in Connecticut, Vermont, everywhere. So it was started mainly with that for the first couple years.
That's cool. I like that somebody who's fairly new into the hobby is the person who starts these events. Because I feel like a problem that like Andrew and I have is we've been doing this our entire lives. So we get a little jaded to things, and we don't want to get too involved.
Yeah.
And then we wind up getting really involved anyway, but we don't have the ambition to push ourselves forward because, like, we've been doing it for so long. Somebody else will do it, and we'll just show up. Like, it kind of happens that way because we get burnt out because we do it so often and so
Yeah,
much.
no,
And
for sure.
it's been our whole entire life. So I appreciate that you weren't a car person until you bought this Mini.
Yeah, definitely was.
You stumbled
was
into
not.
being a car person.
Kinda, pretty much, yeah.
Which is really neat. And now
It's
you
kinda
own multiple
found
cars, which
me,
we'll get to.
yeah,
And, yeah, it became
sure.
an addiction real fast.
Oh yeah.
So, what kind of hobbies did you have before being a car person? What led you in? Was there anything mechanical at all? Any kind of model building, or I know you're into Legos now. Were you into Legos then, or is that a new thing? Or
No, Legos, I guess the Lego thing is kind of relatively new as well. Everything.
it started because
I
they
was-
made a Mini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty much exactly how it started. Honestly, before I got my car, I was a pretty boring individual. I was
Yeah.
in high school. I had my part-time job. I went to school, went to work. That was it. Did my homework, kind of like
Just looking
that
for a
kinda
place
thing.
in the world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much, and that's kind of feel like how we all start out, basically. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I forget what year the Mini Cooper Lego model was made. I think it was, I want to say like 2016, maybe something like that.
Okay. Well, ever since we've known you, I know you've been big into it, and because you built
Yeah.
the Legos, I got a Lego. I was like, oh, these are cool. And I was like, oh, that Volkswagen minibus is cool.
Yeah.
And I know Andrew built
Yeah, you can check it out after we're
the
done.
Lotus.
The Caterham.
Yeah,
is on
Caterham.
the
Yeah, I
shelf
have
back
that
there.
one. That was
Yeah.
fun.
And I built a bunch of like little small Legos. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, super nerdy, but it's cool, and I'm into it now. So
Yeah, that was my problem. I built the Lego Mini Cooper, and I honestly had never really built a big Lego set like that before. That was my first one. After that, I built the Volkswagen bus, the camper
Yep.
bus that you referred to, and then I was like, I need all of the cars.
right,
I have all of them
because
now.
now you're a car person and
Yep.
a Lego person, and your life
Lego
has been
car
completely
person.
changed forever.
Well, they're like, I mean, they're challenging, but they're not impossible to build because they have really good instructions. So you
Yeah.
feel like you've really completed something.
Well,
when
they're
you're done with
designed for
one.
children, so it's a good thing we can complete them.
Well,
Well, it's funny, there's other things like Mega Constructs, for example.
they have adult ones that are harder.
Yeah, but they're ultimately designed for children. They're designed for
Millennium
children to be
Falcon.
able to assemble.
It's got like 8,000 pieces.
Yeah, that's a crazy one.
$800, something like that.
Yeah.
One of my friends bought that, but
That's insane. Now, as most of our listeners know, $800 is usually the budget that Andrew and I have for buying actual cars.
Yeah.
So we don't spend $800 on Legos.
real cars, not plastic.
I want
Yeah,
to build
exactly.
the Porsche kit that they have.
the orange
The orange
911.
one. I have that
Yeah.
one too.
Yeah.
That was fun. That took me a week, honestly. And I have the Bugatti.
These ones aren't designed for children. These are for adults that are into them.
Okay, fine.
That's why the ad for the new one, the Lego Mustang, has got a guy. He's in his living room, cup of coffee,
Yeah, I do want that
newspaper. He's got it on his coffee table in front of him.
I do want the Mustang too. Have you seen that one yet?
No.
It's like a '67 fastback.
It's on back order right now.
I saw the Bugatti one.
Yeah, whatever.
That was insane. The
Yeah, I should
Bugatti
build
one.
that one too. Anyway, so getting off of the topic of
Tangent.
Lego cars, you got the Mini. It got you into cars. What does your current fleet of cars
My
include?
fleet.
Because you have a fleet. You no longer have one car.
Yeah.
You've come around full circle
That
from
escalated
2013.
quickly.
Yes.
It did. It did escalate very quickly. Yeah. So in 2017, 2017, I again stumbled across a gorgeous classic Mini, 1962 Morris Mini Minor in almost perfect condition. Was up in New Brunswick, Canada. Someone had actually posted it on the Minis on Top group, which I thought was kind of ironic because that's where everything kind of started for me. I kind of outreached the guy on a impulse. I'm impulsive. My friends will attest to that. Made a deal with him. It worked out really well. We were chatting for a while before I finally decided to confirm I was going to get it. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous car.
It is a beautiful car.
Yeah. Some
I still want to drive it.
you can drive it.
I know.
I gotta get new seats.
Yeah, well,
Seats
yeah.
need some love. Yeah.
It's okay. They hold people generally in place.
Hopefully
You
this
just
summer.
You just need a little extra support in the bottom of them. That's all.
I got a pillow, so I got the pillow in the back.
At least Minis parts wise are pretty easy to come out.
Yeah.
It's not like they don't exist. So.
Oh, they are.
But anyway, yes. Continue the story about buying the Mini. I apologize.
Yeah, no, it was we actually got to talking and I realized that who he was, I had met his wife in passing at my very first Minis on Top in 2015, which I thought was very ironic. Or no, 2016 was my first one. Yeah. They were selling these duck whistles. I won't go into the whole story, but there's this whole rubber duck thing with Minis on Top. She was selling for charity. I bought one, and when I realized kind of who they were, I was like, oh, I still have it. That's great. That's so funny. But yeah, he had gotten offers from all these other people. You know, they were going to offer him more than what he was asking for, but you know, he's like, no, I want you to have it. I feel like you are meant to have it, and I feel like at this point that I was as well. It's really cool.
Some car people are awesome.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
oh yeah.
Other car people suck, but some car people are awesome.
No, he was wicked sweet. Yeah, so about a month later, made the very long trip up to New Brunswick, Canada, in Sackville, New Brunswick.
Yeah, I've never been there before.
There's nothing out there.
Except a Mini.
Yeah, exactly. Except that Mini, but that Mini's not out there anymore either. 24 hours pretty much was the whole trip. Took us to go up there, get the car, come back down. We didn't stop. Me and my parents, we drove up there, came right back down. That night when I came back, there was actually an event that was hosted that I had set up with Minis in New Hampshire at a local brewery, and I walked in a little bit late because I'd been trying to take a nap, but I couldn't sleep. I was so excited. Everyone was like, "What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Why are you not asleep?"
Because you had to tell everybody your story of your new Mini. I get
Yeah,
it.
no, I had to go. Everyone, all my friends were coming up from Boston and everything else, so it was good. It was a good night.
So was that car restored in Canada, or was it restored overseas, or where was that car done?
So that
it's
car-
definitely been restored, right?
Yeah, the car was restored. It was trying to think, back in 2002, I believe it was restored by the two owners before the one I bought it from.
Okay.
No, that's a lie. The owner before him restored
Two
it.
owners before you.
Right, yeah. Two owners before me. Yep, that sounds good. But I mean, that's all original parts and everything in there. The color, a lot of people ask me, is that the original color? Yep, sure is.
It's pretty close to your ice blue new one.
Mm-hmm.
A little more green, I think.
Yeah, a little more teal.
Would you call it more like almost like it's like a slightly greener Tiffany blue?
Yeah.
Got that similar color to it.
Yeah, it's almost spot on with the Tiffany blue. I
Is
love
it almost spot on? Okay.
Yeah.
It's not quite that Arizona can greenish blue.
No, it's more blue than
Darker.
that. Yeah. It's a very pretty color. And
It is.
The interior works well with it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a
Yeah, it's a
car.
lighter. The interior is the lighter, kind of more ice blue than my modern car is.
Yeah, it's
So
a,
it
it's
was
a really
fully
neat car.
restored.
Yes. Yep,
And then-
fully restored.
So did you drive it back or did you tow it back?
No, we
Yeah.
trailered it back. I
Yeah.
did so much so much research at how to get that car back because I had
Right.
read all these horror stories.
But the
Like,
Canadian border can be fun.
yeah, no, I was really worried. I read all these stories like, oh, if you don't have the right paperwork, it's not filled out the right way, they'll confiscate the car and they'll crush it. And I was,
Canada now owns your car.
exactly, yeah.
Well, at least it
Never
was
see it again.
definitely old enough. Like, no question that it was old enough.
Yeah,
For
that's
sure.
one of the things that is an issue with the border is that the car's not 25 years old, but this is a, what do you say, a 66?
Yeah.
62.
62, so yeah, it's quite
Yeah, a
old.
lot of the issues with the minis is because the body styles were the same up from 59 all the way through, 2000.
2002?
Yeah,
So
2002.
people
Yep.
trying to sneak in
Right.
newer
So they would
ones.
swap the
VIN swap
but
them.
yep, it was really easy because the tags are just screwed in under the hood.
So they probably do a little bit more research when you bring a car like that in. Like, probably Land Rover is probably the same way. They make sure it's actually the year you say it is.
It was funny though because because we went all night, we didn't stop to sleep or anything like that. When we finally came to the border, it was like 3 a.m. So and
They didn't have their A team out there, you're saying?
no, definitely not. The guy at the desk was even like, we're understaffed. We had to cut budget. Part of the border was actually closed. Like it was really bizarre.
Did they put a tariff on your mate? No.
No, that was the other thing.
Bad
Yeah,
political jokes.
I read that too though. I forget exactly what it was called. But there
There's
was
an import tax for sure.
right. That was it.
Yeah.
It was an import tax. It was like 2.5% or something of whatever.
Yep.
What you bought it for.
Yeah, we had to do that when we brought, because I did a border crossing in Chris's Delica van,
Yeah.
and there was
I
definitely an
feel like
import
Jordan
tax.
and Liz talked about that too.
Yep. Wasn't very much money, especially with a, not
$800
$30,000 car. It's like it wasn't a big
Yeah,
deal.
so I was fully prepared to, pay it. I knew it was coming. The guy filled up paperwork, handed it to the guy. He looked at me and he's like, "This is gonna go in a drawer. It's never gonna get looked at again, and however many years it's gonna get shredded." And I'm like, "All right." He goes, "Have a good night."
That's pretty awesome. That makes me encouraged to go buy more cars in Canada. It was a little more difficult for us, but not that much more
It was really
difficult.
creepy. When we finally got to the border, I guess that particular area is really foggy because there's a swamp or bog or something nearby, so the whole border was all covered.
Do you know where you crossed?
I forgot. It begins with an M. It was right came up through Maine. I forget which one it
So
was.
it was sort of a Maine border you
Yep.
went through? I guess New Brunswick is pretty far east, so that makes sense.
Yeah, we
Like,
entered through Maine.
We went through Montreal, so it was Toronto. Went through Toronto. But anyway. So we went into New York, but similar situation.
Cool.
Did you bring it on a U-Haul trailer?
I did.
Did the wheels fit one on the other side?
That was, whew. Yeah. We finally arrived at the house to go. Sean was the guy I bought it from. I finally arrived at his house. It was late, 11 o'clock at night, and we lined it up to kind of get it up on the trailer, and we were all like, "It's not gonna work. This
Yeah.
is." We drove all the way up here, 10 hours, wherever the heck it is, and it's not gonna work. It did though.
Was it like riding on the part that ramps
Almost,
up?
yeah, almost. It was really worked out perfect. The Mini's base just fits the U-Haul trailer.
I was wondering that because I went to Virginia to pick up that 79 Colt,
Yeah.
and I had similar
Similar,
issues. I know the Mini is smaller than a Colt, but apparently width-wise, probably not that much smaller because with the Colt, one wheel was in the track and one wheel was on the little
Yeah.
ramp up that keeps you from going over the edge.
Yep.
So because it was just too narrow for the
Teetering
trailer.
there.
Yeah. And, since original minis weren't really sold here new, you don't see them very often. And
They were sold here, no?
They were?
Yeah,
Okay.
they sold Minis here, right?
Not the classic ones.
No.
No.
There's
Yeah,
so
'cause-
many of them in this country. I assume they must have sold them new here.
Because they're old enough to import. Or they
Yeah.
could be imported
But
back
there
then.
were different laws pre
Yeah.
85 or whatever year it
But
was.
my point was that you don't see them super often, so a lot of people I don't think realize how small they actually are in
Yeah.
person. They're really small.
It's the first thing most people say.
Yeah.
It's so small.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank
Yeah.
you. I drove in here. Yes.
Yeah, it's fun. I get that. I get that again in a Colt. I can't imagine
yeah.
how much more you get that
Yeah,
in a
you-
Mini Cooper.
Had to make sure you didn't get run over by soccer moms in their SUVs on the way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Don't drive it on the highway. It's not. I've done it a few times, but it's
Just a 4-speed.
not. Yes.
Yeah.
Just a 4-speed.
So it probably turns pretty high revs. In
Yeah,
the
with,
highway.
like-
Oh yeah.
What does it get? 10-inch tires?
Yep. 10-inch tires.
Like golf cart tires, pretty much.
Yeah.
Trailer tires on those things. Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard that 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Actually,
get
where
all
do you
those-
get tires
all
for
those
it?
jokes. I had to
Yeah.
import them
From England?
from
Yeah.
England. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
But
don't
the good
sell
news
them
is that they fit in like
One box.
flat rate UPS box.
Yeah,
USPS
pretty
box.
much.
So it's okay.
No, the box came to my house because that's the first thing I got. Was new tires. tires, and when they finally arrived, I was like, "There's definitely not 4 tires in there," but there were.
Were they
So
squished together like with zip ties?
no, I don't. I don't
Oh
remember.
no,
I didn't.
they're just that small.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't actually put them on. I just threw the box in my trunk of my other car and was like, "Here, you put them on."
That's awesome.
Yeah, you have to go to a specialist for those.
Nope. I went to
Trailer tire store. Sorry.
to put them on. I went to Velucci Imports in Derry, New Hampshire.
Okay, so they used to that stuff because
Yeah.
they do a lot of MG work up there.
Yep.
I know,
Okay.
so
You
Lot of
couldn't take it
British
to like Town Fair Tire. They look at you
No.
like
I mean,
you're
you
insane.
really can't take a
Probably-
Corolla to Town Fair Tire
Yeah.
without them screwing it up. So I can't imagine them doing something specialized.
Yeah, no, definitely not. You don't want to bring that over there.
No. I have no problem in saying that. I don't recommend anybody go there ever
Don't
because
do
I had a
it.
very bad experience at Town Fair Tire. No, just don't. Awful people.
All right, so that's cool. You've got the original Mini.
And a similar color new Mini.
Yeah.
So that's a cool like.
Yep.
All right, you're done collecting cars now. Oh wait,
But wait,
what happened
there's more.
next? This next story goes into how impulsive you are
Yes,
because you asked us all our opinions and we all told you not to do it and you did it anyway.
but you were wrong.
And well,
Kind of.
we were. I don't think that we were wrong. I just think that we were both right.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll admit when I'm wrong, but I think that
I think that's true.
I think that
I'll settle
if you
with that,
had waited, you could have found one closer,
probably,
but you wanted this car, and
it's closer than Canada.
it was
so
closer than Canada.
It was
Was
a
it
little,
really?
a little bit better. I don't know.
How mu-
Kansas,
Nah, I think it's probably more than 10 hours to drive to Kansas.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It
true.
definitely
I think it's actually further away. There's less paperwork involved because you're not crossing international borders, and it wasn't 25 years old either, so it would have
That's
been an
true.
issue. But anyway, you did wind up getting a nice example of this car, and I do like the car a lot, and it is super clean, and you definitely made out well.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, you were impulsive and you bought the car.
I did. So,
So what is the car?
it's a Miata, 2001 Miata.
Does it
And
happen
it's
to be the
5.
same color as your other two cars?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
This is same
There's a
shade.
common theme here.
Same shade.
So I think that most people probably know that color Miata, the NB Miata in that aquary bluish green.
Mm-hmm.
Really pretty car. Not really common though, which is why you found one
Yeah.
in Kansas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was looking at one up here. It was in somewhere in Massachusetts. I forget where it was now. Tingsboro, Tewksbury, somewhere over there.
Those aren't really near each other, but it's okay. They both
Yeah,
start with T, so we'll go
That's
with
my
it.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was either in, Tewksbury or Taunton, they're the same.
I went to go test drive it. And it was fine. Weather was fine. As soon as we got into Massachusetts, it started to pour. And this other one was a 2008 convertible Miata. Yep, I think they're all converted now. They're hardtop, some of them.
Right. There are a
So-
couple that are like 30 hardtops made in Japan only,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
And I was fully ready to buy it. We got back to the dealership after I took it around for a spin, and there was all water in the back behind the driver's seat. I'm like, oh,
Good thing it was raining that
that's
day.
a problem. Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely. So I was like, I'll look elsewhere. They were going to fix it, but I was like, no thanks.
Yeah, no.
See what I found.
A different one.
Found this other one in
what year is the one you bought?
2001.
Oh, one, okay.
Yep, 2001. Yeah, it's gorgeous, perfect, almost perfect condition. I love
Yeah,
it.
no, it's really neat. It's really nice. When you opened the hood, I was like, all right, I see why you went out of your way to buy this car because
Yeah,
all of the bare aluminum still has like shiny coating on it.
Oh,
yeah,
Like,
that was
there's
my
no,
thing.
There's no corrosion anywhere.
Yep.
It's just it's obviously been a very well cared for car its
Yeah,
whole
that's what
life.
kind of sold it for me when I was looking through pictures and everything.
So I know part of the reason you bought it was to autocross.
Yes.
Have you done that yet?
I have not.
Okay.
No.
This
meeting
year,
with
though.
yeah,
to
for
be
sure.
fair, the season just kind of started.
Well, I mean, she had it last year too. It hadn't happened yet, but we'll work on it this year.
Got at the end of last season. It
Yeah,
was.
towards the end
I
of the season.
I took it to a autocross session at the end of last season to kind of
Check it out.
to see what it was all about. I still had the Kansas temp plates on it when I drove all the way
Nice.
out there. Yep. I'm actually meeting with a friend next week to kind of go over what to expect, I guess, with the autocross. I mean, drove in a bunch of cars, other people doing it, but I have no idea what to do myself. So
It's addictive, that's for sure.
yeah, I
It's a lot
can
of fun.
I can see how that's going to be my problem. My next problem.
Next time we talk to MaeLynn, the car's gonna be stripped with a cage and slicks.
Yeah, she'll be going back to Kansas for nationals.
Yeah.
Maybe. Never know.
Excellent. That's really cool. That's cool. Like, it's a good selection of cars. You have the classic car that's carbureted and old and a little finicky, and then you have your normal daily driver's even fun. But then you have another pseudo vintage car that you can just get
Yeah.
in, turn the key, and enjoy. So that's nice.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, so that brings me to the other question. I was going to ask you what you like to do with your cars. Do you like to just go for a drive, shows, or motorsports? But it sounds like you kind of do a lot of everything.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah, the
good
other
mix.
day, what was it? I think it was last Thursday. Really nice day. It was like 70 degrees out. Got home and I just took out the Miata and just drove around for like an hour and a half to nowhere.
It's a good way to like
Did a big loop, came back
put
home.
put a cap on the day.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No traffic. Take a ride in back windy roads.
Yeah, it was great.
I think actually it was either one of our most liked pictures on our Facebook page. I mean, our Instagram page or my personal Instagram page was a picture of your classic Mini and my Colt on one of those drives we just did. A drive
Yeah.
up and down the seacoast for a while.
Colt makes a little friend.
Yes, that's what I think it's what the thing.
Oh, okay.
That's what the post said.
That was my favorite.
Yeah, that was
I
one
don't
of
remember
our
that one, but yeah.
that was one of our most liked Instagram posts, or on my personal page. I don't remember which it was, but I remember it was.
Somewhere. Might have been
Yeah.
both. I remember seeing it twice.
Yeah, it definitely. Your car definitely brings in the likes. That's for sure. People like the minis.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that kind of goes back to the fact that, people don't see them. They're not common. I think part of the problem with that it was like the third most manufactured car in the world at the time. So people were like, whatever, it's fine.
But it's weird that the third most manufactured car in the world was not sold in the number one car buying country in the world.
True, yeah.
Like, imagine how many more there would have been if they sold them here.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
even mine was.
I mean, they sold Beetles here.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Mine was destined originally for Canada.
Okay.
That
That was kind of a question I meant to ask and forgot, so thank you.
Yeah, it is a left-hand drive car. So people ask me that too. They're like, "Oh, did you swap it?" No, this is original
A North
still.
American market car. Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah.
Must be harder to find, probably, a left-hand drive one. Right-hand drive one's probably more common, I'd assume.
Yes.
I mean, I guess in, like, Germany and places they have left-hand drive, too, but...
It's funny because even the other people that I know, which is just a handful of them around here in Mass and New Hampshire, theirs are primarily their left-hand drive. I think a couple of them were swapped, but most of them were originally like that.
We have another friend who got one at the very end of last season.
Yeah,
He
you
hasn't
imported it from Japan.
He hasn't taken it out yet.
Was it
much.
a Clubman?
No, it's a normal,
Is it
regular
one?
little
Okay.
Mini. Yep, it's a right-hand drive, though.
Yeah.
It's a similar color to yours, actually. But he hasn't. I don't think he's had it out much yet. I think he might have like tooled around the neighborhood when he first got it, but he's been working on it all winter. So we'll
Yeah.
have to introduce you guys so you guys could have green mini times
Yeah,
together.
for sure. Actually, I think I've seen pictures of it. It's
I
not
think
quite the
I
color
think
mine,
that
it's a little bit.
it's
Yeah.
close
we have,
enough.
There's like mutual friends involved.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hopefully he brings it out to one of the Cars and Coffee events.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you started working on your own cars yet?
Not really.
That's the next step.
I know, yeah. I think the closest I've done was I changed the battery in my Miata beginning of the season. We were chatting, the other day, like, it's my first winter caring for so many cars and the way
Yep.
in storage, and I didn't know what I was doing.
And we're like, you need battery tenders, and you're like, I need what?
What's
I
that?
need to hire a guy to watch my batteries?
Yeah, I will admit that. I know, I guess, a lot of history about certain types of cars, but when it comes to what's under their hood, I have no idea what's going on.
Which is fine because there's different types of enthusiasts and different types of things make different people go around, and we
Mm-hmm.
try not to discriminate against. We're a little more hands-on here,
Yeah.
but sometimes we wish we weren't. I wish that we just farmed things out and just enjoyed driving them sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's definitely there's advantages to every way around
Like
it.
Stephanie's brand new car, it's really nice dropping off the dealer for an oil change, and I don't have to deal with it.
Yeah. Like I just bought a fairly modern car and it's got a warranty, and if something breaks,
Ooh.
guess what's going to happen?
Bring
I'm
it
not
to the
gonna fix it.
dealership, Yep. I did, with the help of my friend, the first year that I had it, we did an oil change for it. So I got a little bit experience. I probably
Hey.
couldn't do it again by myself,
I bet
but
you
I think
could.
I would
I bet you could.
Yeah.
with the help of a YouTube video.
Once you've learned lefty loosey righty tighty,
Yeah.
everything kind of works the same. It's really the basic principle. of Everything is turn it left to loosen it, turn it right to take it off. Sorry, turn it. Yeah, left to loosen it, turn it right to put it
Okay.
back on. Apparently, I don't work on cars either.
Yeah. And rarely you'll find reverse threads.
Yeah, well, we're not gonna get too technical right now, but once you have, like I said, the basic principles down, everything kind of works the same. I mean, honestly, I learned as a kid a lot of the mechanics of working on a car by building model cars and by building Lego cars and just learning what the basics, like what's an axle, what's all this stuff kind of transcends from the toy cars to the real cars. And you probably have some more knowledge than other people from building like your Bugatti Lego car because
Yeah.
they make them work like real cars. So
Yeah, that was fun.
I mean, I'm not saying that, hey, I built the Bugatti Lego car, I can go restore a car, but you have a little bit more understanding probably than somebody who's not done anything at all.
we kind of got a little far away from it, but I don't think we explained what Minis on Top was.
Minis on top.
We mentioned Mount Washington,
Yes.
but we've talked about it because we've gone to the hill climb.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the Mount Washington Auto Road, and the Minis on top. You guys drive up the Auto Road.
Yeah, pretty much. So that particular weekend, it's a Friday and a Saturday. We kind of all gather on Friday, get together. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Haven't seen you since last year. Saturday afternoon, yeah, we all meet at the base of the mountain. They closed down the auto road for us.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's neat.
Yeah.
So there's no real worry about who's coming down the other side. A big SUV, and you have to like move over
Or
to
one
the
of
edge
those
of the road.
vans that they use.
Oh yeah.
Those guys in
Yep,
the vans.
those two.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we all go up the mountain together. We kind of hang out up top of the observatory for as long as you want. We all try to get down the mountain before it's dark because that's
Yeah, they close the road off when it's
not
dark, don't
fun.
they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they wait till all of us are kind of off the mountain first
I would hope so.
before they're like, okay,
They
push the
push
night.
you off the sides.
Bye.
This event is called Minis Don't Get Off Top, Wind Up in Tuckerman's Ravine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fun. I've gone for the past 4 years in a row now, so
I enjoy driving up the auto road for any event. I've never done it with like an organized car event like that, but I enjoy just driving up it. I mean, I feel a little bit lazy when I'm like, if you're like, "What'd you do this weekend?" "Oh, I went to Top Mount Washington." "Oh, that's cool. I didn't know you hiked." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't." Yeah. I drove to the top, and then I got winded walking to the observatory, so definitely didn't hike the mountain.
yeah, no,
Even at
that's-
like 25, it's pretty crazy. So
25 what?
25 miles an hour,
Yes.
which is the speed limit. But
Yeah,
then,
it's a fun road to drive up, and you see like all of New Hampshire as long as it's clear,
then you
which
go
is
watch.
not very often.
no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the last
past-
couple times we've gotten lucky up there for the hill climb. So
I
Yeah,
have some
it's been quite
pictures.
clear.
This last year, it was clear, so it wasn't raining or anything like that. But all the clouds were like just a blanket over
And
as
it's
far
still
as
like
you could
40
see.
degrees colder at
Oh,
at
yeah.
the summit than it is at the
Yep.
bottom. The bottom's like 80 degrees, and you're sweating. You get up top, and you just a jacket.
Yep.
So,
You always got to dress for the top of the mountain that day, or
Yep.
at least bring a pair of pants or something to change into.
oh, that's cool. I never had a mini, so I've never obviously done minis on top. But
Yeah, I drove it up with my 2013 Mini in 2017. Yep. Last year I went up with the front because last year I actually took my Classic up
to
up
the
to the event,
Yep.
yeah.
But not up the mountain.
No way. It doesn't even
bet-
make it up a steep incline
I
on
bet,
a regular road.
I bet it would do okay.
Nah, it doesn't. It wouldn't have made it. Definitely wouldn't have made it.
Can- We should drag it behind somebody else.
I could have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, I need a little help. Just give me a little boost.
And then just put it in first gear and roll back down the mountain the other way.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Because
Yeah.
those brakes are probably tiny, so they probably, if the wheels are 10 inches, the brakes are less than that. So they got to be small brakes.
but it doesn't weigh very much.
Actually, does it have front discs or drums? I think it has discs in the
I think
front.
they had discs in
Yeah,
the front.
discs in the front. Yep.
Yeah,
So.
sure.
Have you had what's the most people you've had in the original Mini?
In the Mini. Trying to think.
Oh, it's more than two then.
Have you-
5?
Oh, all right.
In the original one?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was actually at one of the Southern New Hampshire Cars and Coffee events. For that particular one, like everybody I knew was there. I think it was that's the following summer because I was getting it out more. And everyone was like, "I want to go for a ride." Yeah, let's go for a ride on the parking lot.
Oh, you
Okay.
did 5 people while driving?
Yeah,
That is impressive.
including myself. So it was 4 passengers.
I gathered.
Because I think what the car was designed to seat 4
It was for a family
adults,
of 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like you were supposed to be able to be like 6 feet tall in like the front seat.
Oh, in the back seat.
In the back seat?
Yeah, supposed to be like as roomy in the back seat as in the front seat or something like that.
It is very roomy. There were these 2 guys at this one show. They were both well over 6 feet tall. Can we try to sit in the back? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Get in there. And they're both like,
I'm not cutting the roof
"Wow."
off to get out though.
They're like, wow, this is so much room in here. This is comfortable. Yeah.
I remember
So-
seeing things about them, like reading about them back in the day. They're like very like cab forward. That
Well, that's when they designed the car. They designed it with the transmission in the base of the engine, so it was all one piece. They had that much more
Yeah.
space for legs.
and the wheels are like at the very corners.
Yep.
Which turned out making them really good for motorsports because
Yep.
they
Oh,
had
yeah.
they're like short but they're wide.
Yeah, they're very stable cars.
Yeah.
And they handle very well.
Does that have the hydraulic suspension? Didn't they have that or something?
The hydroelastic suspension.
Hydrolastic? Or
Yeah.
is that a special thing?
No, I think they all had that, but I
They
think
all
hers
had
has
that?
been changed. I think she has shock absorbers in her car.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly
yeah.
that.
No, I think we talked about it. I think when we first got
Might
it, we
have.
talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds
looked at
vaguely
it.
That was an
familiar.
interesting technology at the time. They were trying to make cars like kind of adaptive suspension, and it was like hydraulic fluid that would travel between the front and rear
Mhm.
under braking or acceleration to like level the car out. Kind of like a was it Peugeots that does those?
Citroën.
Citroens. Yeah, very European, but that's cool.
Yeah, Mini did it first, I think, though, which is neat.
So, is there anything you'd like to do with cars you haven't done yet, like a long road trip, or
Other than autocross.
yeah, or drive like a racetrack, a specific racetrack, or modify a car in a certain way? Or
Yeah, I would. I was talking about that kind of the end of the last summer before I got the Miata. I was looking for a race car, and a lot of my friends were like, "Well, it's easier to buy one than to build one."
This is a solid plan that your
it
friends
is
have
very
told
good
you.
advice.
Yes.
Yeah, but instead I got the Miata. But eventually I think, depending on how everything goes, if I, am good at autocross, I eventually would like to maybe race.
I don't think autocross really translates to track day as much as people think it does at first.
It can.
I mean, some of the basic car control skills are the same,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I know a lot of people who are into track days and stuff that just despise autocrossing. So
Yeah, whatever.
I know quite a few people who kind of started with autocross and now they do both. They do track
Yeah.
days and they do autocross as well.
The cool new thing that the SCCA is doing is the track night in America.
Yep.
So,
A couple of my friends have been
and
to
I think
that.
they'll even let you do a Miata without a roll bar, which some people are like, "Oh my God, they're gonna let Miatas on tracks without roll bars," and it's like, well,
yeah, they're not
just trying to
door-to-door
get
competition.
yeah, you're just trying to get people to experience it, and
So you should use your autocross helmet.
yeah, I mean, it's easy to get a nice bolt-in roll bar for that and install it. It's
Mhm.
pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I was looking into that with
Yeah.
one of my friends. He has one. I was trying to ask him for help. Like, hey, can you help me find one? How easy or difficult is
They're not
this?
too difficult to install. You just
Yeah.
gotta make sure you get one that's legal for
What you
Right.
want to do with it.
for what you want to do with it.
Mhm.
You want to buy one, and then you get to the track, and they're like, well, "It's nice you have a roll bar, but it's not the one we require." So
Yeah.
that kind of research is
I
necessary.
think most of
first.
the notable ones are useful in everything. So, and then plus you also want to make sure there's certain ones that don't fit with the hard tops if you want to use a
Mhm.
hard top at some point, or they don't fit with a soft top with the glass.
Right.
You'd have to have a plastic soft top.
Mhm. Do you have
Which-
glass or plastic window?
Pretty sure my window is
The
plastic.
black window's plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. that's what I
Yeah.
thought.
Sometimes it depends on where the car was. I think if it was sold in a climate with like winter, sometimes people would put the glass one in because you could put a
A
defroster in it.
Yeah.
You don't really need it because if you're only using the car in the summertime, the top's down 99% of the time, anyways. So
Yeah, I pretty much put that away once it started getting below like 60 degrees. I was like, nope, no more.
Well, you
no.
have a fun daily, like you have a Mini that you drive daily, so
Mhm.
it takes the hurt out a little bit of having.
Yeah, no,
Put
for
cars
sure.
away for the
Minis,
winter.
minis are fun. Most people who I come across, they may have had one before. I had to get rid of it. I had kids. They were all like, I miss it.
They have back seats.
yeah,
They have them. Yeah, but they're not, especially if it's just a two-door. It doesn't work. Doesn't work too well. But
Well, it's
they make bigger
it's,
ones
it's
now.
kind of neat because I've actually heard of other stories of Mini purchasing making somebody into a car enthusiast in other ways, like not just being into the Mini, like just starting to get into the Mini and seeing how much fun it was to do things with cars more than just drive to and from work in the mall, and then they get an old car or a Miata or both in your case. And I've heard of other people going that same route because the Mini is such a fun car to drive. People realize how fun cars can be to drive.
For
Not every
sure.
car is a Camry. The car's entertaining. So that's neat.
I think the early ones were really early versions of the new Mini
Yeah, the Gen
are
1s.
probably the better ones, the
They
better
are.
looking ones.
They're more fun. They're the most fun
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
definitely. They have
because they're
definitely more fun.
lighter and
They're
simpler.
more in tune with the original.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
The newer ones, the way newer ones now,
The ones
third
that are
gens,
like old Camrys.
they're pretty much they're pretty much
Two-door
BMWs.
Corollas. Yeah.
BMWs with a Mini logo slapped on them, as far as I'm concerned. So
Yeah.
That's
No,
weird.
the early ones are cooler.
it's kind of sad.
Like our friends that have iron oxide racing, they have an early base model manual transmission Mini, and I drove it like 40 miles one day, and I was like, this car is fun. Like, this is a fun car to drive.
We know another guy that rallycrosses one.
A base model?
No, he's got that S,
Oh yeah.
the white one.
Yep.
That he's lifted with Clubman springs.
Yep. Actually, he's been to the Cars and Coffee.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. No, I know him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pat Patrick.
Pat. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's got two classics, Patrick.
Does he?
Got
I
a black
didn't know that.
one. No, green one was the one I think is working. Yeah, I think the other one is a project. I think it's red.
Stephanie's always wanted one, so
It's on the someday soon
Yeah,
list.
we'll get there at some point.
They're pretty readily available, and you can get them in a pretty wide range of prices too, depending on how nice you want one and what era you want
True.
one from.
Yep.
Like if you want like a mid '80s one, they're kind of like almost free. Like
Yeah.
not almost free, but they're fairly cheap.
Which is weird because they basically all look the same.
But people want like
Is it the interior is different?
Your car is simple. It has the
Mhm.
10-inch wheels. It has the sliding windows.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It has a single gauge.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very simple car. Whereas the '80s ones, they tried to make them more like normal cars, and you see a lot more with the wider flares and a more modern-looking dash, and they have full crank-up windows, and they lose a little of that charm. The early cars are always going to be worth a lot more than the later cars are.
Yeah, there's that
Until
one.
you get to the final cars, like the '01, '02 cars, are worth a ton of money, but they're not legally hit anyway. So
There was that one that sold just recently. I think it was the same year as mine. It was a rust bucket.
Yep.
It sold for like $80,000.
there must have been something going on with that car, some kind of weird history with it.
It was unrestored. Everything was all original, but it didn't run. You're gonna have to.
It must have been an S then. Was that true S?
I don't
A
know if it was an
1275
S. I don't think it was an S. No.
Jeez, that seems ridiculous.
Someone, yes, and then there was another one. I think a few years younger, 67 maybe, sold for 45, 50 at an auction.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. I know. I don't know if Andrew remembers or not, but my father and I went and looked at one.
Yeah, I remember.
Probably in '99, 2000-ish. It was a long time ago. It was a 60. Might have been a 60. It was a real early car, and it was like $700. And I didn't buy it because it was too much money.
Yeah.
It's
But
under your baseline though.
that was the
$800.
time. You know, it was.
Yeah,
But
no,
it
I
was.
get
You know,
that.
it was 1999 or 2000, and
$800
I mean, it wasn't a
$700
running
was-
driving car. The car needed a lot of work. It
Lot of
came
love.
with everything, but it needed a full restoration. And I remember just it was sub $1,000, and I didn't want to spend more than like $500 on it, and the guy wouldn't
Yeah.
take it. Actually, the guy was like I don't want to call him like a mini ambassador almost at the time. He was one of the first salesmen at the local mini dealer, and he had been a lifetime collector of minis. I think he was in Watertown. His name was Harach. He was pretty famous in the mini community at the time. Everybody knew who he was.
Huh.
And
Might
he
still
had,
be. There's some guy I think.
he had a whole
somewhere.
huge collection of them. I think he might have passed away. I don't want
No.
to say it for sure.
I don't think so. I keep
No.
hearing his name and I keep
Harach.
hearing about his collection.
Huh.
He was a
now and
salesman at
again.
Mini PBD when they first
Got a whole
opened.
garage full of them.
A huge
Yeah,
garage full
yep.
of them. And he had a white.
He is
it was
still
a
very
sig-
well known
Okay.
in the mini community.
At the time, the car was only worth
Right.
$1,000, and he wanted $1,000, and I didn't have quite $1,000, so we didn't buy it.
What were the Italian ones? What were those called?
Innocentes.
Innocentes.
Yep.
Built under license.
Yeah, there were a couple different ones too. I don't remember all the names of them, but Innocenti is probably the most famous one.
Yeah, they're built under a lot of different names, which I found really interesting because you see them and so you're like, is that a mini? And they got all different emblems on the front of them.
Yeah,
and
like basically
crazy.
yes, it is. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're licensed. They were licensed like Jeeps were, and
Right.
Yeah, like Mitsubishi Jeeps.
yeah, it's like once they found a design that worked, they just.
Well,
sent them out.
they even changed it later on. Like I think it was the MG Metro in the '80s was basically a mini underneath. There was another car that was basically a mini, but it looked more modern.
Oh, right. It has a different nose on
No,
it.
that one is a. Yep, that's the one. Not the one I'm thinking of. The MG Metro is a different car.
It's almost like a
altogether.
square nose on the front of a Mini Cooper.
Mhm.
Like it's like a 80s nose on a 60s car.
I had it in my brain, and then you went and talked about it, and that was gone out of my brain when you had. by the
I
time
saw
you
it. There
said
used to be a red one running around Salem.
Yep,
red with
the
a
square
black
headlight
roof.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a name for those, and it's escaping me right now. But the MG Metro was a different car. It almost looked kind of Yugo-esque, but I think it was mini based underneath. So that was Clubman is the
The
Clubman.
barn doors. Yeah.
Countryman is the barn doors, right?
So the modern Clubmans now are the barn doors. I think. Yeah, I think back
the-
then
back then-
they were referred to as the Countrymen's.
So the Countryman was the one with the barn doors, and the Clubman was
Country
the square.
man.
And the Clubman was the square headlight car. I
Yeah,
want
it's
to
the
say.
opposite now.
I want to
With
say
the modern
that.
ones, it's weird how it kind of reversed itself.
I can't say that for a 100% truth, but I think that they were called Clubmans, and I think the reason I can't remember it anymore is because they call the new cars Clubmans,
Yeah.
which is confusing me.
All right. So I think we'll call this a podcast then. Where can they find Southern New Hampshire Cars and Coffee? It's on Facebook.
It's on Facebook. Yep, at SNH Cars and Coffee. Follow us, like us. There's a
Is it the same on Instagram?
Yep. Instagram is the same at SNH Cars and Coffee.
Need to post more on there.
Sweet.
I know. I will this summer.
If you want to share your Instagram, you're welcome to. Or not. You don't have to.
If you want to share your personal Instagram,
Yeah.
you can. If
Oh,
not,
my Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah, no, sure. I mean, my Instagram at Adventures of a Cargo. It's same. I have a blog as well on WordPress, so that's adventuresofacargirl.wordpress.com. Want
Excellent.
to check that out as well.
Confirmed the square nose, not square headlight, square nose, was called the Clubman on the classic minis.
All right.
So you're thinking
Yeah.
of this design right here.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the Clubman.
All right.
So
Sweet. And again, first Cars and Coffee of 2019 is at the Coffee Factory, Salem, New Hampshire, April 14th, 9 a.m.
Mhm.
And you can,
there has been some serious interest on the Facebook page, more so than last year's first show, which is
Oh yeah, no,
going to
it's
be
crazy.
an interesting
The series of events, I
experience.
think it has 1.4
1.4
people.
thousand people have said, like, I'm interested in
Yeah.
going. So it's either going to be an absolute maniacal, crazy show.
the local police do come by.
Yes.
do.
So be careful
Be good,
and
Yeah.
be good.
please.
Yeah. Don't do anything dumb.
No burnouts, no loud music.
Yeah. You can follow us, Odd Off Topic Podcast, on Facebook, on Instagram, Odd Off Topic. Find me on Instagram, Race and Anger, and Brad.
TSISS350.
And as always, please rate and review the podcast, share with your friends, keep cars analog, and aim for the roses.